Hello, I'm Dr. Clifton Brady, and today I have a chance to introduce you to those who don't know Dr. Val already, and those who know her are huge fans and love her so much. We met on LinkedIn and had such a great first connection. I thought we've got to have what we talked about, at least some of it. Maybe we can capture some of the magic, Dr. Val, on today's meeting. But welcome, and tell us who you are and where you're from.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Val, Franc, and I'm a naturopathic doctor. I'm from the Toronto area, but I have a virtual clinic, and I've worked with the Vanuatu's women's beach volleyball team, and I've worked with other athletes and other people. I network with them all over the world. So so that's a little bit about me.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And one of the reasons why we connected is because of that virtual clinic. That's what I've been able to do, and that's what you're doing. And I was fascinated to hear what led you into that. Do you mind sharing a little bit about how this all came about?
Sure. So first of all, we were talking a lot about things that we have in common, and you were talking about that freedom and that impact and that legacy, and those were things that we had very much in terms of our values in common. I've always been a spark and go type of woman. When I feel that spark, I'm just like, oh, I've got to go follow this passion. And
Right.
So how I came to be a naturopath is, I had my own, I was doing an undergraduate degree in nutritional sciences in university, had my own health issues. And in pursuing that, the medical community didn't have any answers for me. And so I went to see a naturopath, and the naturopath said to me, it's your food, it's your diet, it's what you're eating. And I thought, if I have this undergraduate degree in nutrition, why have I never heard this? It can't be. And sure enough, it was. And so as soon as I started switching my foods, then my entire health turned around. And I couldn't believe the power of foods. I was blown away. So then, of course, the spark came on. Naturopaths have secret knowledge. I want to know what you know. And so, because I was so blown away. You know something my medical doctor doesn't know? How come she doesn't know this? And but she just didn't. That's not what they're taught. That's not
You're right. Yeah.
practice. So I just started, finding this passion for just being on this quest for knowledge about what other forms of medicine are out there and what the human body is really capable of, and that potential is really capable of.
Amen.
So I spent a lot of years traveling the world, studying different forms of medicine, studying yoga and Ayurvedic medicine, studying acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine. I studied at a teaching hospital in China. I studied with a health guru in Hawaii. So basically, you're hearing I can write off a lot of my career expenses as travel throughout the world.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time doing that, and then looking at the mind-body connection as well, studied some hypnosis, and really started merging a lot of different aspects of health and nutrition. Mm-hmm. And then after being in practice for a number of years, my father actually got very sick. And he was diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor. He was diagnosed with glioblastoma. And when he got sick, my world came to a stop. I'm daddy's girl. So I knew, okay, I've got basically a year on average. That's how long someone, once they're diagnosed with glioblastoma, they usually have about a year to live. And so I knew I wanted to spend that time saying, I love you and goodbye. Yeah. And my practice was suffering. So I ended up hiring a business coach because I knew. So you and I have talked about legacy, and I know you're big on that.
Right.
This was my legacy to my father. He was such a good businessman, and he was such a hard worker. And he always taught me that, to those who much is given, much is expected. And you've been given much, so you need to give back to the world. You need to be of service. You need to be of value. You need to go and make sure that you're helping your community. And so I knew that if he knew that my practice was suffering because I was spending time with him, it would devastate him. It would never be what he would want.
Wow. How selfless. Yeah.
I hired a business coach. And that business coach basically right away just started talking about thought leadership and having a why, and
Mhm.
saying, when you're taking a look at success, what makes people successful is not how smart they are, how talented they are, how much better in X, Y, and Z they are than the average person.
Mhm.
It really is a mindset,
Mhm.
and it's having that passion and purpose. So I wanted to create this legacy for my dad. And that's where this all began, where I started to say, okay, now I have to look at a thought leadership, being a thought leader. And my business coach was actually like, actually, let's actually expand it to being more than just a thought leader, but a heart leader.
Mm.
And how do you serve in the world on that level? And how do you show up on that level? So that passion sparked. And that was the beginning of my journey. So interestingly enough, my father was diagnosed with glioblastoma in 2019. He passed
Oh.
away. Yeah, he passed away January of 2020,
Mm.
January 15th, 2020. I went on vacation. My business coach at that point in time said, you need some rest. Just go.
Go away. Yeah.
Yeah. On vacation. I came back. I was in my clinic, still brick and mortars at this point in time. I was in my clinic for 2 weeks. And then March 15th, 2020 hit,
Oh, geez. Yep.
the pandemic.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Now you can't see people.
right. My licensing body said, you have to go home, shut everything down. You're not allowed to see anybody. And also, you have to keep your mouth shut. So these certain
Shut up and
things,
sit down. Did it sound like you're in grade school all of a sudden?
pretty
Yeah.
much go to
And
your room.
I'm assuming you're not very good at shutting up and sitting down, Dr. Val.
I'm definitely not. Here's a little secret that I've never told anybody. My nickname when I was young was Bumblebee because I
Oh,
was
you're
always really
okay.
so busy. And so running around.
Yeah. Your talent was to pollinate and make sure everybody's happy. I
My
love it.
talent was running around and causing trouble. So
Oh,
sitting
trouble. Okay.
down, never an issue, never a good
That's
thing for
super
me.
cool.
So yeah. So, of course, many people who are in my profession and who are in massage therapy or
Yeah.
chiropractic or a medical profession, they couldn't practice.
Hmm.
So that affected their income. For
Oh,
me,
yeah.
but because of the thought leadership piece that I had put into place, I had an income coming in
Hmm.
and I was okay.
Yeah.
And so, greatest decision that I ever made was to actually hire that business coach and to follow that instinct, that passion, and create that legacy.
I love that you didn't, we were joking around, but you didn't shut up, you didn't sit down, you didn't give up, you didn't allow what was in reality. Like other people say, well, my reality is I have no money, I have no health, I don't like my spouse. That's their reality, and they believe it,
Yeah,
which I understand why people would believe their reality, but it's not true. That is not the truth. The truth is that we are creators. We can have and do and be the things we want to do. And I love that you went to work and made it happen. I love Marcus Aurelius. What stands in the way becomes the way. And
yes,
that sounds like that's what happened for you.
exactly. And because of all of that work that I had done on that mindset piece,
Hmm.
my coach had a mentor, and that mentor is a former. He did Navy SEAL training. And then he
Oh.
also went and worked with Tony Robbins. And he works now with another company that helps in terms of, taking people's business to the next level and helps them create the life of their dreams. So
Got it.
so his mentor, so my business coach's mentor has
Right.
become one of my best friends.
Ah.
And we met, we connected. I actually met him for the first time a couple of days after the day after my dad's funeral.
Oh, wow.
So I met him in person, and he just took me under his wing, and we became like best friends right away.
Hmm.
And he was the one who started sharing with me, the mindset piece is 10% of the work. It'll give you 90% of the results.
Yeah.
And so he started helping me out and saying, everything that you want to achieve, he said, whatever it is that's in your heart, whatever you feel, whatever that passion is, and whatever you need to have done to feel secure and solid, get it out of the way. Because he said, once whatever income that is for you, whatever you need to, whatever stuff you need to have to feel like, okay, I've done it, I've got it, I'm good. He said, get that out of the way so that you can love and serve the best that you can in this world.
That's amazing, because some people might go their whole life trying to get the thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, get the thing, just go do it. And then then now we have that behind us, and now we can actually truly serve and love.
Yeah. And his big thing was starting every day with gratitude. He said,
I agree.
Yeah. He said, before you get out of bed, he said, this is his practice too. Before he gets out of bed, he just says what he's grateful for, and he gets in such a space of love and gratitude that then he can get up and just love and serve the world.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm going to be a little skeptical, because I'm trying to listen to people that are hearing this and go, okay, that sounds too simple. That sounds too easy. What can you share a little bit of the pain that came along with the love and the gratitude? Because obviously you had that mind shift change, thankfully, before a big challenge came. Maybe some people didn't have the mindset shift before their challenge came, and it's crushing them right now, and they don't know how to get out of it. What kind of advice would you give those who are like, I don't want to be in an office, I don't want to do all these things that are being forced upon me from the bureaucracies and things. I want to be free to serve and to bless people the way I want to. But what would you tell them?
Yeah. I would tell them, start with gratitude.
Okay.
And I would say, again, finding out, number one, finding your why, having a really strong purpose. So for me, my dad's passing became my big why. I want to create a legacy for him. A legacy of love. So I want to create a business because, he was such a strong businessman, and he instilled such a strong value of work that I want to create a body of work. And I want to create a practice. I want to create a business that serves the world and honors him. So everything that I do in my business, all of the patients that I work with, it's all about honoring my father and of course, honoring God. I'm a very spiritual woman.
Absolutely.
So that's my big why. It fuels me. So the other thing is that gratitude practice. Every single morning, I get up and I have my gratitude practice. I have my affirmations. So I make sure that I do my positive mindset. It's reprogramming a lot of the negativity, because we all have it. We all have those wounds from the past. We all have our wobble points. And then I also have my PowerPoint presentation. Instead of like a vision board, I have a vision PowerPoint because I'm typing.
Yep.
So I look at those visuals and I feel like everything that I want to create and manifest and bring into this world, who I want to be, who I want to embody, have that on my vision board or my vision PowerPoint.
Right.
And I look at that and feel that in a state of gratitude as if I have it right now. And so that sets the stage. That's the first thing I do in the morning, and that sets the stage for everything else. So when you have that negative mindset, that's normal. That's called life. That's called being human, because the way that human beings are designed, our brain kind of wants to protect us from the environment. And so it remembers more of the bad stuff than the good stuff, because it's like, oh, if the bad stuff happens, like, you don't want to get hurt like this. It's a protective mechanism. So we have to reprogram it and refeed it all the time. And then above and beyond that, once I created all of those and got those down as a foundation, that's how I start my day every single day. Then I also gathered around me my team of champions, or my Justice League.
Okay.
So these are people in this world who I look at and they inspire me. They're people who I look at and I say, these are people who do the impossible every day. I call them metahumans jokingly. Like they honestly, they just take it to the next level.
Right.
So I've got all of this community that I surround myself with, that I stay connected with, that I stay in touch with, so that they inspire me to do and be greater. And so when I have my wobble point, because we're all going to have a wobble point, it's going to happen, they're there to help boost me up.
That's fascinating. I actually, before we got on today, I pulled out this list of they're my virtual mastermind kind of thing. So there's some that are passed away, like my father. We have that in common. I lost my dad too. And then there's others that are living. And I have this list of people. And I go, okay, now what would they do in this situation? You know, like George Washington or someone like, what would that person do? Or what would she do in this scenario? And it's weird, but you get inspired through their eyes. Is that kind of what you're talking about, as well as those who are living? Have you done something like that?
I have that, but it's for me, it's important to have people who are living.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
exactly.
Steve Anderson is the coach of Vanuatu's women's beach volleyball team. And he and I met. He used to coach for Team Canada, and we met when he was here coaching for Team Canada. And he is someone who inspires me every day. He has broken a number of world records. He has won Olympic medals as a coach. He has taken teams to gold as an Olympic gold medalist. He's written books. He's part of an angel tech investor group that helps women in technology that are starting up new businesses. And then he's owned a restaurant and he's owned a record label. And I know, like, you see what I mean? Like, this is a meta-human. I'm like,
and oh yeah, I see what you're saying. That's powerful.
So to have people like that who are your friends, who are connected to your heart, who support you, or someone like, my best friend, Mark, who again, did Navy SEAL training. Like that's enough on its own. But then on top of that, spent the rest of his career looking at what makes people successful and helping people be successful. And he worked with Tony Robbins and brought value to that organization. And he's helped, thousands of people increase their business. And, I've seen him take people into 7 figures for their businesses. And he's just such a warm-hearted, loving individual. And he's just always there. And so, and he's introduced me to a couple of people that are his friends. And then I've got, people here that, again, do some amazing things. So I've got men and women in my life who are just like next level and who I aspire to be. So to create that team and have them around you is absolutely critical, because you do become like the 5 people you hang around the most. So
you do. Yeah.
You do on all levels.
So allow people into your life carefully.
Absolutely. One of the other metahumans I hang around with, he actually said something like that to me. And how he phrased it was, he said, I'm very intentional about who I spend my time with.
Yeah. Lift and build and support and help everyone. Wave, smile, hug, whoever you need to do. But who are you going to dinner with, and who are you calling when you're in trouble and you need help, or just want to lift someone up? I love that. I was thinking, so one of the newsletter that I put out is called Your Freedom Formula. And I'm hearing your freedom formula is gratitude.
And it's also passion.
It's your mindset, and then it's the people you hang out with, and of course the why is mixed in there. And what's interesting, and remember your thought. What's interesting about being, I don't even know if I want to call myself a coach, because really in the end, we know what we need to do. We just need someone to believe in us. And so maybe it's more of a cheerleader that we are, as health professionals, but also as supporting others that want to do what we do. And because it is really going to be downloaded from above. And your formula is not going to be exactly like everybody else's, but it's going to sound a lot alike. It's going to have some similar rhythm.
Yeah. And thank you for acknowledging that portion of it's going to be individual for different people, but also that it's going to be something that is coming from above. Because
Yeah.
I think, as I look back on my life and I look back on everything that's worked for me and all of the adventures that I've had a lot of adventures. And every single time it starts with a spark.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, oh, like there's an experience that I
Yep.
hear about that I'm like, oh, I want that experience. And as soon as I hit that spark, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in my
Yes.
gut. I can feel the excitement. I'm like, oh, that's what
This
I
is
want.
it. This is it.
Yeah.
The butterflies. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's,
Emerson calls it, watch that gleam of light that flashes from within.
yeah,
And then he goes on, and yet we reject that thought because it is ours. It's like, oh, that spark or that gleam of light that's like telling you, nudging you, hey, this is where you need to go. And they're like, nah, my reality says this. And like, okay, fear, doubt, and reality will destroy all of those things.
absolutely. And what I find really interesting is every single time that I follow that spark and that passion, it's always worked out. And
Mm-hmm.
I do want to put caveats on that. It's never worked out the way that I thought it would.
Oh, it could be messy, really messy. Yeah,
Yeah,
good point.
but it's always worked out. And so, definitely being in that state of gratitude is so important. Having that positive mindset, doing the work, having the community around you, but always making sure you're tuned into your authentic self
For sure.
and where that spark is leading.
Well, you are a spark to so many people. I'm so glad I got to know you and meet you, and hopefully we continue our connections and develop more relationships with those who we're working with. I can't help to ask, and I'm just kidding when I say this, but have you learned to levitate with all your travelings?
I'm this close. I've learned to fly. I've got a passport.
Okay. Well, let me know when you figured that one out.
Yeah,
We'll have the ultimate interview on LinkedIn. Well,
that's right.
Dr. Val, any last thoughts or things, nuggets you want to share with people? I mean, I feel like you've already given it all, but any last thoughts you want to share?
I love the saying that, what your mind can perceive and believe, you can achieve.
Yeah.
So if you have a life that you want to live, don't focus on what's going wrong. Focus on that life as if you have it now, and you have to take action.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that you're just gonna meditate yourself into this positive life, but start doing the mindset, start living the gratitude,
Yeah.
and really pay attention to what your heart is desiring, and bring that into the world, because that also is your unique gift to share. Every single human being, every single one of us has our own gift that we are meant to bring to this world, our own light. And if we're playing small, we're not serving the world.
No. Hospitals were not built by small dreams.
No.
Or churches or great organizations, or your virtual clinic was not built because of a small dream.
Absolutely. So whatever your dream is, whatever's being sung into your heart, into your passion, you've got to follow it, and you've got to just shine your light.
Yeah. I was thinking of the one thing book by Gary Keller. He says, if we have God big goals, that's the kind of things we need to have. Because in the end, we're like, I don't know how this happened. God did it. And so I like that concept of God big goals. But Keller says, well, go small to go big. I'm like, okay, now this is opposite of what you're thinking. But what he's saying is just do that one little thing like you're talking about. It's super easy to do and super easy not to do, that morning routine that you talked about. That's a small little thing, like you're saying, but that 10% of effort is going to give you 90% of the results. And yeah. Oh, beautiful. Oh, we could keep going on and on and on. Well, thank you, Dr. Val. If anyone wants to reach out to you because they love what you're talking about, I've seen you on LinkedIn. Is there other platforms you like to put information out there?
Sure. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
At DRVALND is my, so at Dr. Val ND is my
Perfect.
LinkedIn and Instagram.
Okay. Well, please check her out because she's got great stuff that she's giving away, tons of good content. So, all right. Thank you. And hope you have a great rest of your day, Dr. Val.
Thank you. Thanks again for the interview.